Hello, TEM friends. We're ready to take a first look at the dashboard. And as we have explained in the email, its formal arrival as a first draft won't happen until early next week. But you're going to get an early peek to be able to look at it. Now, it's a definition of a really well-designed and executed dashboard is that a user can come to it and without explanation start pressing things and see things. It starts already early on to make sense. Well, our dashboard is complex enough that it's very unlikely that a user, without spending quite a bit of time poking around, will figure out how this thing works and how best to use it. So the purpose of this little video is to give you a kind of a quick cook's tour of this thing. I'm going to share my screen right now, and we're going to walk through and look at some of the features here. So I'm going to work from the top down and sort of over this way. First of all, we'll say that the purpose of this dashboard, this is really important to keep clear in your mind. The purpose of the dashboard is to uh, identify clusters within this huge collection of image swatches that represent the same things. Now, what do we mean the same things? The things we have to work with are chronology, geography, and textile features. So, so the purpose is to identify subsets and to narrow things down to see things with red background from the 19th century, or you can filter it in all kinds of ways to identify these small groups. So the first thing on the dashboard perhaps is to say the general areas. Over here we have a map, and this is the heart of the geography feature. And you can see some dots in there. So with your roller mouse, you can zoom in to Ethiopia and start to identify places where we've got swatches from. And you can see here in the north, Mekelle and north, we got a huge representation of locations. And by zooming in, zooming out, you can start to identify things. When you roll over the mouse, you can see some information about what this place is, what its name is, and the number of manuscripts that are in each place. You can click this little button right here, the focus mode, and go exclusively into the map. And now you have the whole screen for looking around and identifying locations and so on. Here's the back to report button up here in the upper left. And it took me a long time to find that. So now we've got some ways for looking into the map. There's one other feature that's very, very cool, and that is over here, these three buttons. If you want to look at a subset of things, say from, I want to look at all of these, but none of the rest, click on this button right here. It's a rectangle select. And then just, you see how the cursor changed, just drag down across or grab a part of it and watch the numbers up at the top that say 67 holding institutions, 584 manuscripts, 1148. Now we're going to narrow that down as I let go of the thing that I did to select these. And now we have 43 holding institutions, 243 manuscripts, 454 swatches. So this is a means of investigating different regions and areas in the geography set of functions. Okay, so that's the geography aspects of the TEM dashboard. Those can be combined then with by filtering the other kinds of information. So here's the chronology part of the dashboard. And you can see there are two chronologies, one for the textiles and one for the manuscripts. So to narrow things down to a certain date range, you can just pull the slider bars here and mess with them like this, just pulling them to what you want them to be. Or if, a little more way to be precise, if you say, I'm looking for 17th century stuff, so that's 1600, to put in the start date, to 1699. press enter, and now these automatically move in, and you can see the materials that are just from. You notice how we went down to 5 holding institutions, 7 manuscripts, 12 swatches. Uh, so this is the textile date. Uh, at this point, it'd probably be a good thing to clear all filters down here on the lower left-hand side. Clear the filters. Now it's like we're starting over from scratch and say, I don't want to do textile date. I want to do manuscript date. And so now we say, well, let's do 1300 through 1600 and see what we have on the early stuff. And it does its work. And we've filtered now the images. Up here, we can see there are 13 holding institutions, 18 manuscripts, 32 swatches. So things are really narrowed down as we go earlier with our chronology. So think of these as your first filters. These are chronology filters. This is a geography filter, and every time you filter something, you look up here to see how many you've got showing up down here. So we haven't talked about the displays of the images. Let's do that. When you make your selections, immediately it filters out all the images that are not associated with your selections. And your images, you probably you might pick one of these and say, I want to look at that one and that one and that one. And just by clicking, now you've created a subset within this subset. Or you say, I want to look at these 2 manuscripts, these 2 images side by side. First of all, you'd want to clear all the selections. Select, what did I do here? This thing alongside of this thing. Uh, and this isn't quite working as it should yet, but there should be images available here. And actually, let me clear all the filters, and actually, I'll maybe just even refresh the whole thing. It'll come back up here. Um, so you can see with this image here, I want to filter things down so we're looking at fewer items here. And that changed this, so phooey. Some of that is not working, and Jarod is going to get it working. But normally you'll come in here, you'll see whatever subset you've created by filtering things, either geography or chronology, or as we'll see in a minute, with all the textile features over here. Uh, Let me see. Well, so you would start here with the images, go over here and get a larger image of the subset you're trying to look at. If you select 4, there are arrows to the other one side and the other that let you go right and left and see that subset. Or you can click on this focus mode button. It's hard to find the first few times you do it, but there it is. And now this is all about where the pictures that you've selected will be, the subset. As I said, right now this isn't working exactly right, but within hours it will be, and it even does in certain filters. So now we've looked a bit at geography. We've looked at chronology. I might say that there is these 2 buttons up here. Consider this sort of the front screen. And this then is the detail screen. What's behind? Well, what do you mean behind? Well, as in all of these things, every time you create a subgroup down here, that becomes the focus of the information. So you see how these dots change and show us here's this information changes, the dots change for what you have. And there's more details back behind, and that's what this button does. And lo and behold, 67 holding institution, 584 manuscripts, 1,148 swatches. And here's all the metadata that sits in the spreadsheet behind that gives more information about all the manuscripts that are in this filtered set that we're looking at right now. So back to overview. It's probably self-explanatory now. When you look down here, these are over on the left-hand side, these are the filters that control the textile features. And Well, I see there's a few of these still up here that have to do with geography. And if you say, I appreciate all the stuff that's in all the other places in the world, but I really just want to focus on Ethiopia. One of the ways you can do that is just click Ethiopia, and that has filtered things down now to 50 holding institutions, 290 manuscripts, 563 swatches. That's because we front loaded what we've been putting into the system. I might stop here for just a moment and say uh, we have about 600 manuscripts and their corresponding 1,200 swatches in the system. We are aiming for around 2,000 manuscripts, which probably means 4,000 swatches. We got a lot of work yet to do in terms of filling up this thing. Think of it like the Grand Renaissance Dam. They fill the structure, but they're not going to get anything out of it until they fill up. They create the structure, and then you got to fill up that great big area with water behind. So behind we've built, we're in the process of building the structure of the TEM dashboard, but now we have to fill it up with indeed hundreds more images, and all of them with their details and tagged and so on and so forth. So over here, then you can see textile characteristics, and all of these you can go in and select one or more of these buttons and click. And now we've narrowed it down to the things that have been tagged with the identifier silk. Uh, and then whose ground color is blue to green. Ooh, we've got some silk and blue to green. And as you know about Boolean searches, you click even just a couple of ands for your selection, you're narrowing things down. And just those two clicks, we went from almost 1,200 swatches to look at down to 10 manuscripts with 17 swatches. This now is a very manageable size to look at. Granted, we're going to put a whole lot more stuff in there, but this is the way that you get data sets that you can manage in your mind and your brain, and then move in to analyze the group and see individuals in the context of the group. That also means that when you identify one, oftentimes that will help you in identifying the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and quickly being able to sort of do work on these things. So let me see. The ones that you textile experts will be especially interested in are these textile characteristics over here: principal material, pattern arrangement, um, hmm, indeterminate, staggered, striped. Do we have any? Yeah, of what we had filtered thus far, we add stripes to it, and we get down to just this very small group. Clear all the filters again here, and everything comes back. Um, Dominant technique. You see the options here. By the way, every one of these, when you click on it, there is a search word right there. And if you want to type in a word you're looking for, something might come up. Very unclear right now how exactly that's going to help us. But the intention was mainly that you would use the drop-down options here. These are the primary ways in which the swatches have been categorized. So there's ground color, and you'll learn the system there for identifying the ranges in which your color falls. Textile covers on the print, uh, textile cover on printed books. This is a special category. I'll explain in a different time. You probably won't use this. I'll be using that. Similarly, these directly on wood. The location of the inside, front, and back covers is the place where these textiles are happening. But textiles are not the only thing that are happening in those spaces. And I've created some taggings to be able to study, aggregate subsets that have to do with items that have painted art in there, or printed art or text, or they've sometimes stained the wood, or they've carved the wood. So again, this is probably the area that I'm most interested in, but anybody that wants to look in there, please feel free. Down here, then we'll have evidence of mirrors. That again is a special interest that I needed to have to write my article, which means we had to tag all the ones that have evidence of mirrors, which comes if there's a mirror present, and there are not many of those, or is there glue that was there. And or is there a niche carved into the wood that is there? In all cases, you select the one. I think pretty soon this mirror evidence is going to, those ones are going to become yeses. But uh, so clear filter. So every time you want to restart stuff, you hit this clear filters. If it doesn't look like it completely went back to ground zero, and this looks like it did, but if you're unsure about that, go up here and just refresh the whole thing, and it will start from scratch that way. So I think these are the main features, and we invite you to look them over, begin to get familiar with them. And the most important thing, it's not a toy or just or merely a toy. I mean, it's does interesting things like that. But what we want as a team to figure out is, how do you use this as a part of our research scenario? All research scenarios in this sense begin with a research question. Abimelech read something that said people in the north use primarily red background things, and people in the south use primarily blue background things. Whoa, who knew? And is that true? Or at least with the sample that we have, could we test that hypothesis? So you'd figure out a way to, that's the research question. So the research scenario is probably geography, people in the north, people in the south. So go select either the north or the south, and just look at all the ones that come up under north, and look all the ones that come up under south in a separate search, and see if you see some kind of a tendency toward red and toward blue. That would be an example of a kind of research scenario. The research scenario, learning how to create and execute research scenarios, will be the magic for the team. That's where the stories emerge. And every story will ultimately be grounded on evidence. And the evidence are the subsets you create in the in the dashboard. If you get some really good ones, it might be a good idea to write down, here are the filter settings that I created or that I put into the dashboard to achieve this set of results. Okay, that's enough for now. Well, I'll say one more thing. This one of two things. This replicates what's going on up here, overview and details. So one is overview, two is details. Enough said. That's enough for you to get going. I hope you have fun with it. Jarod is going to place, this is very important, he's going to place a button on here someplace for input, or so if you see something that you'd like to change, starting early next week, not yet now, but starting early next week, click on that button. It will take you to a Google Doc, and we want you to write in the stuff right in that Google Doc. That way, they'll all be there together. If you want, you can snip pictures of things and drop them into that Google Doc if that will help explain what it is you're looking for. And when that button appears, and when next Monday starts. So if you start putting in suggestions now, Jarod has a list of things that he's working on to improve. Philip had some great ideas, and Jarod and I talked about a number of things. So give it a few days here before you start into the thing. But then starting next week, have at it, and just start throwing in any suggestions or questions. We might be good to schedule a meeting or two. And especially after we've begun to figure out how we can use this in research scenarios and have a little dog and pony show where people say, I was interested in this question and I set the settings here and here's what I found. And that makes me think, ta-da. That would be really great fun as a team to sit around doing some of that kind of stuff. Okay. Um, Thank you to Professor Michael for leadership in this entire project. And this is really fun stuff. Let me see, I'm going to stop sharing here and then I'll turn off the video now. Thanks a bunch. Hmm.